All right, boys, this is not the video that I want to be making at all, but unfortunately, I do have to make it. And unfortunately, your boy Dan has just went through the worst losing week that we have had yet. We definitely learned a lot this week. I'm going to go over all my trades this week. We're going to do a full analysis, what I'm going to be doing this weekend to make myself better. What we're going to be doing to take a learning lesson from this, what trades that I took this week that I would take again, what trades that I take this week that were forced. We're going to be going over all of those things. If you guys are new here, I've been trading now for 6 months. So this is like, now I'm starting to get it with like starting to play with funded accounts and stuff. I did paper trading, and obviously, but most of you guys know already like half my journey, so I'm not gonna spiel about that right now. Regardless, we made some mistakes this week, and we're definitely gonna have to correct some of the mistakes that we made. And I feel like one of the most important things that I have to be correcting is I have to be more. I did learn a lot this week. One thing that I am happy about this week, one thing that I could take away, bro, in a losing week, no matter what happens, boys, you always got to be able to like take something good away from it no matter what happens. Like, you have to be proud of yourself of taking a step closer to what your goal is than from when the week started. And one of those things for me this week is I got really good with my risk management. I feel like I really was able to figure that out a lot better. Like, for example, today I ended up taking 3 trades and I lost 0.5% of my account on a de-risk day. So today I was de-risking, and I ended up using less than 1% of my risk that I'm allowed to. I took 3 trades, and I ended up being perfectly exactly where I wanted my risk to be at. So I feel like I'm getting a lot better with stuff like that. I was also able to manage my risk really well yesterday and the day prior. And honestly, this is something that I was struggling with the week prior. Like the week prior, my risk was not great. Regardless, boys, you don't care that I'm just walking around right now in my house. Let's get up on the computer. Let's get on the charts. Let's go over what trades I have taken this week, and then we'll come back to the camera and go over some lessons. All right, boys. So I mainly just want to focus on all of the trades I took today. I'm still gonna go over all the trades I look. First things first, boys. Let's pull up the stats. Monthly, this is how we're looking on the month right now. We're down about 400 bucks. Lost about 400 bucks this week. But again, I'm not mad about it because I was happy that I was able to risk more. Because in the previous weeks, bro, I was literally risking way less, bro. And I'm going to be honest, now I'm finally risking more, and this account's finally going to get a move on. And my emotions, honestly, are not coming into play. We're just losing trades. Simply how it is. So, let's go over exactly what happened today. So today was honestly another pretty weird day. I'm not really happy with the outcome of today, or at least what happened. So my initial bias was incorrect, which also caused me of losing a trade. So my initial bias of that the NASDAQ wants to come down and take out these London lows, fill this bullish fair value gap before making a move to the upside and then targeting London highs, was completely incorrect. Price decided to literally come down and managed to just only sweep out this liquidity before price then decided to make a move forwards. So also another thing, and be like, Dan, what the hell? Like, bro, you took the trade off the first bearish fair value gap. So let's pull it up. Let's go to ES really quick. And if you guys pay attention, right at market open, we ended up having a really big bearish SMT on ES and the NASDAQ. So the ES and the NASDAQ were very derived away from each other. So based off that, I wanted to see some type of move to the downside. And this actually ended up playing out on ES, and it never really ended up playing out on the NASDAQ. So let's go over it. Obviously, the ES is still the leading indicator of today. Like, if you guys literally pay attention to this, bro, it is literally the leading indicator of today. So let's go really quickly over to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is not even near London lows. So ES is the so this is the NASDAQ's the lacking index today. It is what it is. So ES ended up, we did take a loss on ES too, so I'll go over that in a second. But regardless, we made this move down. We had this bearish fair value gap where price wanted to retrace into. If I would have took this trade on ES, I would have ended up printing compared to taking this trade on the Nasdaq. So literally entered 830. It was like 834, 833. The second price retraced in this 1 minute. Obviously on ES, this 1 minute got respected a hell of a lot better. We ended up having price coming down. I would have took a contract off and then moved my. I would have been able to take a win off this trade if I was simply trading on ES instead of the Nasdaq. But literally, you guys pay attention on the Nasdaq. We had this 1 minute, price came back into it fucking chop, and then ended up hitting my stop loss. It is what it is. Days are just gonna be like that sometimes. Let's move into the second trade I took on the day, and this trade was actually on ES compared to the Nasdaq, and I got fucked out of this one as well. So, let's go here to the 5 minute. So on the 5 minute on ES here, we didn't have a we had this fair value gap to the upside, but we didn't have a fair value gap like we had on Nasdaq. So at this point, I knew that the Nasdaq wanted to target probably. I already switched my bias. This was my point where my bias was already kind of switched, thinking that the Nasdaq was at least going to come up and sweep out this liquidity. So we had this 5 minute right here that ended up getting filled and respected on the Nasdaq, and I wanted to take this trade to the upside on the Nasdaq. I am not sure why I should have stuck to the Nasdaq with this and took this trade. I would have been able to this would have been a winning trade, and I would have been pretty happy with the outcome I would have had with this position. Going into the next trade, which was on ES, which this is the same trade that I'm talking about right now, but going into this trade on ES, I decided to enter because the Nasdaq was within that 5 minute and ES was retracing within this 1 minute. So based off that, I entered, decided to target highs, thinking that the Nasdaq was going to follow, which the Nasdaq did, but we ended up having a bearish SMT form here where price then decided to continue lower. So I kind of got screwed out of my position here. Like literally, if you guys pay attention to this trade on the Nasdaq, which was the exact same entry, was like right here. The Nasdaq ended up pushing higher, and then the ES obviously only pushed up to a certain point. So that obviously sucks on the Nasdaq. That would have ended up being at least a break-even trade. I would have moved my stop loss to break even. So unfortunately, that didn't play out in my favor once again. And this next trade I took was honestly garbage, hot garbage. We ended up making another move down. Based off this, I thought price just wanted to retrace into this and then take a trade to the downside. I didn't wait for candle close. This ended up getting inversed. Obviously didn't work out in my favor, and then price ended up continuing to the upside, sweeping out London highs before making a move down. And honestly, on a day like today, I should have made money. It was simply execution errors and errors on my end that prevented good trades from happening. I'm not mad about this first trade. I feel like this first trade is very solid. The second trade, I should have took it on the Nasdaq. I feel like I shouldn't take many trades on ES in general. Now the ES actually just came out, it swept out London lows. So that's pretty crazy, to be honest, because the Nasdaq. So we have another bullish SMT that just formed in the Dude, today's just been a weird day. I mean, the Nasdaq's obviously lacking behind the ES right now. It is what it is. I mean, there's gonna be days where it's like that. I mean, there's nothing really else much to go over. I mean, I know all my learning lessons. I did my whole journal. Pretty happy with what I was able to risk today, and we'll come back harder next week, bro. Obviously we're not trading tomorrow, non-farm payroll. That's just the way it is. Let's hop back on the camera really quick and go over some things. I want to talk about, I think today is going to be the importance of journaling and being able to journal your trades and being able to learn from them, especially on losing weeks like I was having this week. I think one of the biggest takeaways that most people should be having is to simply literally just journal your trades, mark what you learned, mark your emotion that you felt. Am I going to make an adjustment to my rules based off this losing week that I had this week? To be honest, no. I feel like one of the biggest things that prevented me from definitely being or having another green profitable week was to. I feel like one of the biggest mistakes I was making is I was not being patient enough and waiting for price to sweep out liquidity. And I actually had a conversation with my mentor about this the other week, that I was not waiting for price to take out liquidity. And unfortunately, it ended up happening again where price ended up seeping out liquidity. And I feel like I should just wait for a London high or London low to get taken out and then look for my entry instead of almost trying to catch the move up or move down to that point, you know. But essentially, I mean, I'm not mad about what happened today. It is what it is. I mean, it's part of trading. Shit's gonna happen, bro. It's gonna be like this. It's part of the game. It's part of the process. I know exactly what I have to do. I know I say this in like almost every single video that I talk about, but I really do know exactly what I'm supposed to do, bro. And unfortunately, it's just my execution right now that's keeping me away from it. But I know one day, bro, no matter what happens, bro, if you stick to something, bro, I'm learning, bro. I know on days like today, I'm learning. I know exactly what I did wrong. I'm not mad about myself. I'm not like, my emotions were honestly really in check today. And the reason my emotions were really in check today is because I was able to risk properly, bro. That's all I care about at the end of the day, bro. Because I feel like that is the most important part of trading, is just knowing to risk properly. Regardless, if I blow this account now, I don't care. I'll buy another one and I'll be able to risk properly once again. So it is what it is. It's part of the process, bro. We're going to keep grinding. One of the biggest things that I'm going to do, I know I'm just pacing around my room right now, bro, or pacing around the living room, bro, regardless. I know you guys don't care. You guys are just listening to me talk. But yeah, pretty crazy day today. Next week is CPI and PPI week. We will have normal risk going into Monday and Tuesday, where I'm going to be risking a little bit more per trade. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. But again, bro, today was honestly not too like terrible in my opinion, based on like what trades I took, and it just ended up not working out in my favor. I should have waited for a London high or a London low to get swept out on the NASDAQ. I like SMTs too. Like that first trade was a really good confirmation off that SMT that we had. And obviously it did not end up playing out whatsoever. So I don't know if I'm using SMTs improperly, or if I should just completely refrain from using them still. Because honestly, a lot of the times I see SMT happen, what ends up happening is the other index will end up coming out and just taking out that same liquidity while I'm literally trying to go the complete opposite direction. And unfortunately, that's one of the things that happened today. So that's another thing that I got to keep in mind. I'm definitely going to bro, I'm making these YouTube videos so I could go back myself and literally like rewatch them and like listen to what I say. But yeah, other than that, boys, we're going to be back soon next week. We're going to be grinding. We're still going to drop a recap. We're going to be paper trading tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. But other than that, boys, I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.